But today, he's in his capacity as Paris Couture's manager. To his right, guy who needs no introduction, big one on the scene these days, Paris Couture, himself artist. And to his right, this guy, glad to have him all the time, Niall McNish, Scorch, creative director, and he's loving the fact that this is episode 101. So we need to get straight to it, guys. You know, this is the season. This is the season to be jolly, to do all sorts, to free up yourself, to live your life, and move out the way. So let's just talk a bit about the song, a bit about the inspiration of the song, but then we can bring it back to what it means to the topic and what it has done for yourself to really get out of your own way, to get out the way for other people to get out the way, and to have the success that you all are having this season, and we wish it for all seasons moving forward, and to be up on stage with the one and only, the King of Soca.
Yeah, I feel like the way this song started, I was telling Marshall this too, I was like, this song really was created off of anger, and I was upset when I was writing it because I was just, a lot of people was telling me, when I tell them I'm going in soca, they was like, you pick the hardest genre to go in, boy. They're going to fight you down. You're going to wait 10 years before you hit, and the soca mafia. I said, dog. And I just like, at the beginning of the season, I realized, okay, I want to be big this season, but I have no money, I have no connections, I have no nothing. But all I have is just raw energy I just feel inside, and I just say, you know what, let me write this song. And I was trying to do a power soca kind of. I did that before. I wanted to see if I could do it.
So you went straight for the top one time.
Yeah, well, with me realizing I didn't have no connections, I was like, okay, I did this thing online where I was like, if I was on the Tilden Hall rhythm or the Heroes rhythm by Tano, just going on rhythms that was popular for the last season, showing producers, hey, you could trust me as an artist to send me stuff and I could be on it too. And those did really well on the media, and Move All The Way was supposed to be if I was to make a power soca for Road Match. But then when I played it for this guy, he was like, you cannot post this. I was like, you don't like it? He was like, no, it's great, but this is our song. And I was like, oh, okay, because I could just make the next one. And he said, no, we're using this one.
So what made the difference? Because you would have heard a lot of his music before.
Yeah.
What made this one be the one?
Now, coming off of a not so good season, that was from the first soca that Paris did, we wanted to go great. We wanted to do bigger things. And in my mind, I said, if we ought to do big things, we ought to think big, we ought to think outside the box. And one of his visions that he came to me with was winning the Road Match. So I sat with him and I said, well, that's just one. It was like 5 or 6 for this season alone.
So your first thought wasn't, you're mad?
No, of course. So
that's why he's my man.
So I sat with him, I said, you know, come and to tell somebody this, they would look at you as a madman. And then I was explaining to him that, you know, Einstein and all these great creatives, they were thinking way outside of the box, and persons were not able to fathom their thoughts. They can't sit down and understand what they're saying, but yet today, the things that they invented or did were so essential for us living. So I even went through all those conversations with him and say, you know, the ideas that you want, we have to put strategies and plans in place. So one of the conversations was 1 groovy and 2 power. That was the mission to start off. We had the groovy going. It was a very nice song that's brushed as one close to my heart. He would tell you.
Yeah,
and he was doing these skits and songs and stuff, and I heard 2 of them. One was $5 in my pocket, creative, really nice, right? And that one, Fly. So when I listened,
that one would have been inspired, kind of what you said just now about not having money, not having all of these things. Is it the lyrics were based on that?
Yeah, it definitely was like, you know, you could still have fun even if you only have $5 in your pocket. You know?
I love that.
So yeah, so I went to him and I said, we need a power, right? Well, 2 powers. That was the mission. So if one doesn't push that much for the Road Match, we still have a fallback power song. And he was like, but you know, I was trying to create a power and just couldn't get it, and the minds met at that point. And he went back to the drawing board. And when he came back with this, I said, no way this is going and waste on social media or whatever. I said, this is a
This is
a song. This is what we're running with. And we sat down and we say, well, how are we going about this? And even taking it 2 steps back, we having conversation. I was telling Paris, all right, so these are some of the persons we need to get in contact with. And you could chime in here. Mm-hmm. And as fate would have it, as God would have it, or some might say luck, all those persons got in contact with Paris.
Every single, he was saying we need to get in contact with these people, and I probably wasn't even taking them on as much. I didn't know who these people, just calling names.
Right.
And then when I would say, hey, look, this person messaged me, every single person he called is who came forward. I was like, hey, much respect, bro, would love to work with your thing. And it was like, nobody could tell me God not real.
Yeah, so one of these persons was Travis. And
Travis Will.
Travis Will,
yeah. People
right?
who don't know at all.
Yeah, I said, we need to get down to him and get him here in the song. So there was a contemplation of just sending him the song. I said, no. We need to get personal and let him know how we feel about the song and what we want the song to do, how we want the song to song even. So that one conversation, it was to tell him, hey, this is the road match. And I will let you continue from there.
But before you jump in, so at this point you just had lyrics, no music behind it?
Nah, actually what I did, I made I went on YouTube. Now soca, you can't really find beats like that on YouTube that much. Like if it's hip hop or R&B, you'll find thousands. So I just look up power soca songs, and the first one that came up was Soca Kingdom with Marshall and Super Blue. So I just took the instrumental and I was like, okay, what would I do if this was my beat? And then I tried to make my own song, and that is where it came from. Yeah.
And the rest is history.
So yeah, that was just a building to the actual concept of what was happening before. He was taking beats that were before and singing on it like if I was on this rhythm.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what was supposed to happen with this song.
Okay, and that's when you stopped
Yeah, I
and he's
said,
like,
no way, bro.
Yeah,
And you know,
there's no one to fling it out.
and I was kind of, when he said, nah, don't do that thing, I was kind of like, I kind of want to do. I want to make a video and put it out, but I'm glad I just was like, you know, let me listen, let me rock back, because we would have never been sitting here. I would have never be, you know. So
no, but would it have been a liability if it is he did put it out on social media? Would the song be wasted that way?
I feel like Marshall wouldn't have reached out, because it's already out there, and you know he's more private in terms of when he created and then shock the people.
And then timing to launch it would be.
Yeah.
So in this way, delayed gratification really came to the fore, because with the talent, with the vision, with the desire, and then that's backed by what the meeting of the minds, what makes something great. And I take your point. I like when you said you said God first, and then you said luck, right? And I'm a firm believer there's no such thing as luck. There's a desire, there's prayer, there's a request, and it's granted in its own timing, if it is indeed your plan and your purpose for you. So, which is why the stars aligned in this case, and now you're on a stage with Marshall, right? You're in soca, you're in CIC, you're in all of these things. As much as you know, I'd love to talk more about this song in itself with regards to soca. I want to talk a bit more about what do you see, Johan, in Paris, and Paris, how do you see it? Not only in this dynamic, because it clearly works, because he saw that and enough to say, hey, I know. Easy boy. I see you, you know, saying, hey, this is good and let's just launch it. But having the wherewithal to be able to say, yes, we're going to launch this. Yes, we're going to put it out. But I see this bigger vision for you. I want to hear a bit more about that story.
All right, so let me just chime in. Paris is super talented, super. I would sit with Paris and tell him that, and I don't even think he understands how talented he is. So for me, I see this on an international stage. I see Paris going, and that is his plan, you know. But the point is, how do we get from step 1 to step 2 to step 3? So laying down that in terms of strategy, in terms of structure, in terms of how do we do it? That is my role as I see myself. Now, he's the talent. I can't take that away from him, but it's just how you use the talent. So Paris is energetic. And
we could see that
from the top to the bottom, but it's just to channel the energy in the right places. We want it on the stage, we want it in front of the people, we want it making sense. So it's not just about energy or talent and it wasting, just like what I was saying with the song. It's to channel it in the right direction,
that's your
package
role.
it properly and move with it. So
because easy talent, he's ready to go.
Yeah,
he's ready to let loose.
I mean,
easy,
you're getting it at you quickly, as quick as quick.
Easy one that you come to. You're the one that you come to and say, hey, not only to take away all the glitz and the glamour from there, but to realize that, especially at this stage, Paris, this is work, right? A lot of people from the outside may see it and say, hey, you're lucky, use all those words you're getting to go and do all of these things. But this is the work period. I mean, you talk to Marshall and all these other successful artists, and they've been putting in the grind for many years. I mean, you've seen Marshall's sleep schedule, and it's one where if you get, by the time you probably hit that bed, is up again, and team around him also have to be, if not even taking that nod, they have to be a step ahead, making sure certain things are in place
beforehand,
beforehand, which is happening.
For sure.
So this is the start to the grind.
Yeah.
But it's a grind that, you have this saying that people say all the time, if you love what you do and you have a passion for what you do, you won't work a day in your life. Because you're just driven by that purpose. And so I want that this song, Move Out the Way. You said you wrote it when you were angry, or you wrote it from a position of anger. And today's topic in talking about manhood, when we say move out the way, it could be, literal, like move out my way. I am going to succeed. I am going, in this case, road march. I am going to be something. And was this a metaphor for your life?
Yeah, I feel like we're just going back to people saying that you can't make it in the soca. If you do, it could take about 10 years, 15 years, real work and thing, and the mafia go fight you. And I just tell myself, why can't I achieve what I want to do? Because it's in here. I'm feeling it when I sleep, and I can't sleep because I just like, okay, I see these visions in my head, and it's like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. I made Johan. This is where I realized Johan had to be my manager, because I can't talk to people. And when I say that, I mean as in I can't tell them what I want to do or what I thinking. Because unfortunately, they wouldn't understand. They'll be like, Paris, that's not... I didn't think you think you could do that? And for some reason, I don't like... Opinions and negative comments do affect me. But if I telling somebody something that's in here and in here, the way they respond, it will affect me.
You don't need that energy.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason, it was just because to me, that's real sacred, right? So telling Johan, testing Johan actually, and when he responded and talk about Einstein and the guy who made the light bulb, everybody was like, "But you mad? You can't make a light in our room." And when he had that conversation, I realized, I could take this guy with me, because we need that kind of insanity with us, because really and truly, that's where the greats come from. They do things that a lot of people say, nah, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So,
and Nile will like this one, just always remember, a lion roars after the kill.
Yeah, you don't let you know you're coming. For sure.
Only afterwards,
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
No, that's true. That's so true.
So in other words, keep the greats keep it close to the chest. You don't see them coming. And then only when you're on that stage, it's like, hey, who's this guy? But the work has already been done. And while that is happening, as I'm sure, Johan, you're already doing the next steps already in motion. So by the time you're looking to see those other things have already been signed off or planned and put forward. So I want to come a bit deeper when I talk about the metaphor. You say, okay, well, in this particular case, the song, you want to come into power soca, you want to go for road march, you don't want to be around negative energy or smaller minds who really don't see that vision. Because, I mean, if it's your vision, other people may not see it because they're not in that space. And that's simply understanding humans and emotions and behaviors. But when I want to go a bit deeper, is this been something that's driven you throughout your life in other aspects, whether it be school, whether it be that people have said to you, you can't do something. You know, I saw the other day, was it Cardi B in the crowd talking, you know, cussing out a teacher or something who told her she wouldn't amount to anything, and then the teacher was in the crowd looking on at her.
Music, yeah.
Do you feel a sense of, I mean, you've only just got started, but it's a big way to get started. It's a big bang, a big push forward, and with your desire and determination and the combination, I'm sure that you know, 50 or so episodes in, we'll be probably having to speak to a couple other managers to get you a couple. To get to this manager. So remember, to remember that. But is it deeper than just the push here for soca that this is now being sort of a release for you?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I don't want to say 100%, but definitely there's been times where, you know, whenever I was able to achieve something, it was always backed with, Paris, I ain't showing, I ain't feel you, can you see who say, yeah, do all this thing to win and whatever. I love that back against the wall kind of underdog feel. Even with the soca, I would say this. I've spoken with certain soca artists and people on a whole, and they were saying, like, okay, artists could have a big year this year, and then there's pressure for them next year, because they don't care about you if you don't have a big hit next year. And I love that. I love that there are people now that saying, all right, you had this tune here with Marshall, all right, let me see what you're going to do by yourself now. Let me see. I love that. I love that so much. I don't know if I feel the energy in this room right now, but it's like I just love that because I can't wait to just make more music. Yes, and you have no idea what I'm gonna do. Neither do I, and that's what I love.
What I've realized is very strange for someone so young to not have imposter syndrome when being in these big spaces. Like for me, when I first got my new job, I didn't believe, I'd like, yo, am I the person? Am I supposed to be here? Are people seeing me and could see my flaws and see that I am not worthy of this position, right? And then eventually I would have grown into this space and realized, okay, I'm supposed to be here. But when I hear him talk, I hear in the actual craziness of, bro, I have already been destined and ordained to be here. There's no imposter syndrome with me at all. You understand? Humbly, of course. Humbly, of course.
This stage,
so I love it, dog. I love it.
The stage is mine, and what I want to do before we go to the break is I want you all to remember not just the show but the moment. It's important you remember this moment so that when you're in, for example, your imposter syndrome, that you recall the fact that, hey, I know I've done this. I've achieved this before, and I know I stated on several occasions I'm in imposter syndrome, and yet I've still achieved. So therefore, the imposter is the imposter syndrome.
True.
Right? And that I am. And in your case, to harness the fact that this feeling that you have here now, and you say it, yes, with humility, but there's a certain amount of arrogance that needs to take you to the next level. You know, visionaries, people that achieve the greats have arrogance. And nothing's wrong in that, but as long as it's done with certain levels of respect, humility, and of course, vision and control more than anything. So I want you to remember that in those moments of doubt, in those moments of people coming at you, in people getting through the cracks in the armor, that you realize, I am. So with that, when we take a short break, we're talking Move Out the Way with Paris Coutet.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Trinidad, the season of wins is here at Passat's The Food King and Bright Ideas. One season, many chances, big wins. From premium Le Roi chocolates to Moet champagne and fine wine to booming sound systems, fully loaded coolers, and even 50-inch smart TVs. Here's how you can enter to win. For every $300 spent at Passat's The Food King or Bright Ideas, you receive one entry form, fill it out, and drop it in the entry box. We weekly Carnival Cooler Line draws every Saturday and one massive grand finale. The season of wins ends on February 26th and the grand carnival draw on Saturday, February 28th. Shop, enter, and win in the season of wins.
Push on! Quality value, that's our way. The real push shots, we're here to stay. The Food King. Push ons!
Hear every creed and race. Hi, I am Sanel Dempster. Remember a long time when adults used to leave the children at home to go and party, and that was considered normal? Well, there's nothing normal about that. So many things could have gone wrong. But you see, this year, 2026, our focus is to keep our children safe for Carnival. Remember, get a responsible adult or babysitter. And in that case, if you can't get either one, stay home. I say so, stay home. Better choices, safer Carnival. Sanel Dempster, say so. Calling all crew, you got the honey flow and show me what you gonna do. Boom. You must obey, the rhythm out of this world, you're jumping out of control, yeah.
All right, so thank you for staying with us here on ManHOOD. We're at episode 101 and we're talking Move Out the Way with the one and only soca young sensation, 22. This guy just said, back in the day, they'd call it a whippersnapper, but we want to show our age now and look like old, because this is not an old show. This is a show for all. This is a show we speak to all, and we use all the lingo, cap, sus. We have that terminology down. But I want to explain before we move on. You notice that 4 has now become 3. Johan had to rush off, but we're really glad that he spared us some time to really make sure that we had an understanding of the dynamic between manager and artists, and that it's more than just a business or professional relationship. There must be friendship, there must be trust, as you heard Johan explain, having the vision to see someone else's vision and delayed gratification in order to put it out there at the right time and make sure that the planning met purpose and moving forward to the fact that we now have a hit. So that's just explaining missing Johan.
They getting the bread for Paris.
Is correct. To go on some meetings on my behalf.
Is that season? So I know we're taking time out of the season. I'm really happy that you joined us. Because the messaging is really important to get it out there. So move out the way. Let's get straight back into it.
Let me jump in here first, right? So move out the way for me when I heard it. Although I'm not a whippersnapper anymore, right? To me, felt like it's for young people. Actually, let me break it. Let me bring it to actual full circle, right? I used to work here at Guardian, and as a lot of people know, Robert is my boss, right?
Okay. I don't like that word, as you know. But
what, boss?
Yeah.
He was my boss. He used to sign my checks. It is what it is, right? But when Move Out the Way played, I felt at the time like how I went to a memory of when I used to work here and Rob was my boss, and many times used to bump head on a lot of different things, right? When you get blown. And I just wanted to be like, yo, move out the way.
I'm feeling to pick up something.
Let me get the space to run fast and free and do what I want now. Let me not have the limitations of, the people above me. Basic, but now I understand it's control and guidelines and actual experience, right? But at the time, I just wanted the space to move and right?
Yeah.
But so that's how I felt when I was hearing the music, and I could imagine younger people, especially people your age, feeling that same experience with their parents, with their teachers. They're probably in a new job for the first time. They want to just be like, yo, let me be myself. That's why I was getting out of it.
No, Paris, I don't know whether I'm piercing his third eye right now, his prefrontal cortex, right? Because as he's saying, move out the way, I always felt that I gave Niall plenty latitude. The issue with Niall at that point, if we're to be fair, is delivery. So he had it to say move out the way, but he was then
You still need guidance.
running into a crowd and then sticking. Yeah. So I don't.
No, you see, I don't want to come back at that. There will be a debate between us.
It's already begun, my friend.
Yeah, no, but it's fairness because we know on this show it's never anything about animosity. It's about having discussion. Sure. I mean, it's men talking, and it's men and feelings and emotions always come to the fore. And a reality is, and one thing that I always aim at on this show is to never hide anything. So even what's discussed at the break is discussed on the show in itself. So if there's something, I think it's unfair to the audience or anybody listening on to say, okay, I want to know what his comeback is or what his take, because I don't see it as a comeback. I see it as there's this thing, even when you speak about love languages, where you may be offering somebody wine, but what they're really asking for is water. But you think, but I'll give you this fine bottle of wine, but they're like, all I want is water. And as a metaphor, not literally wine and water, but in terms of what I felt I was giving you was space, what I was giving you was the knowledge that I have or the opportunity. And what I'm hearing is that you saw it as a block. Or
I mean,
and that's okay, but
it was not a block. And again, I don't want it to make it about us as about Paris, but it was situations where my creativity, I wanted to go left, and you have to go right because this is the job, and that's basically. So it was never, at no point in time I felt constricted in any way, right? It was just moments where I felt like I wanted to get more freedom, and he gave me a lot, but mental freedom, not physical freedom to do what I want, but mental, creative freedom in certain spaces, and that's what I was alluding to. And again, back to...
Let's all hug.
Let's
but it's interesting because remember this show is not... we start off having an understanding of the song, right? I mean, so that people have an understanding of what brought you to do the song and what they're now enjoying, and now we're having a better understanding of what it took to write the lyrics to the song and even in performing the song, because it's an expression. We see you on that stage, we see you in this there's a euphoric moment, and it's a real freedom for you. It's almost like, hey, look what has happened here, and it's that moment, and that's your story. But if we're talking about it for everyone, move out the way. In the same way, Encore, Party connects with people. One of the big things with those two songs are the fact that it connects with people. We deserve a party. You're working all week, and people can really have that. You can revel in that moment of it's almost a cathartic moment.
It is.
And the same thing with Encore now. It's like, give them a performance. Again, the lyrics are metaphors for people's life. So in other words, Move Out the Way meant something for you. Yes, people danced it, but Move Out the Way
super relatable.
meant something for you. And in this case, it was Move Out the Way in your own way, not in a negative way or an aggressive way, to do what you're doing now, and you found a space that suits you, that allows you to be you. And I've said this to you from day one. That's all I wanted for you.
That is true.
And I continue to cheer you from the background. It's so how do we in other spaces in our life move out our own way, or accept that not everyone is going to move out the way? We have to find our own ways and our own creative ways to make stuff happen. And for those young men, women, even older, whether we're talking about whippersnappers or not, everyone has that story where they may be right now in victim mode. Life is giving me this, or this is unfair, or work is this, or I can't do this. All these things are happening. How do you, move out your own way in your head and realize, how can I now achieve? What is standing in, not necessarily my way, what is standing in the way of that achievement, and how can I navigate? How can I navigate around that? How can I, in your case, how can I kick open the door and make it happen? Because you right now have what a lot of people want, which is why I want you to harness it. I want you to hold on to it, where you have that belief. You're not in imposter syndrome. You have that belief that I am going to make it, and these are just the steps that it's going to take. And should some adversity happen, you know that, listen, without test, there's no testimony. This is just one step. This is just one failure in my road to success. Because that's what it is, and I keep saying that success is a number of failures. So when that happens, it's just a matter of saying, let me chalk it up to, okay, well, that's one step closer, or that's one less thing that is going to take me to that road of success. You know, I bring up the, WD-40, the spray,
of course.
Water displacement. The reason why it's...
Oh, that's what WD means?
Yeah, water displacement, but it says 40 because it was on the 40th time.
They got it right.
They got it right.
Wow.
So cool. Each time was not a matter of, oh my God, this thing failed. It's, okay, well, now let's adjust. Now let's tweak. Now let's figure out. Now let's consult. Now let's take a step back. All of these different things to now WD-40. And that's what I see in your life, and that's what I want you to have. We want to have a discussion about to that what's they call it, je ne sais quoi, to make you Paris Couture. Like what gives you that, how do you get that? After this long diatribe I just released there. Yeah?
No, well, two things you said that really stood out. I want to say, firstly, how do we move out our own way? Not to downplay what people go through, because everybody go through stuff, but it's like at the same time, first realize and accept what you're going through, and just I like to think of it as, okay, the cards that you've been dealt, you might not get the best cards, but it's about just knowing how to use the best play, how to make the best play, how to use your cards. And I said this on the radio recently, and they actually tell me to repeat it again. And I honestly don't have a victim mentality. And, oh, this person is doing this for me, and oh, they're fighting me down. Because at the end of the day, you're going to do that, right? But ain't nothing changed. So I feel like nobody owes you anything. The industry doesn't owe you anything. In anything you want to do, if this is something you want to do, you just have to do it. And I'm not coming at people who've been through certain fight down and certain things like that and unfortunate situations. I'm just simply saying the cards that you've been dealt, you can still win. Just make the best play. Just use what you have. Don't wait on somebody. Don't use an excuse. Don't go on the media and cry. Because at the end of the day, you're not really going to get nowhere. So
Paris, where does that come from? Where does that if I'm looking at you and I'm feeling inspired, where does that come from? Is it grounding from your mom? Is it your upbringing? Is it you always had it? What are some of the things that someone could, listening to you, go, hey, how could I take two of those things to probably start to work towards seeing, moving out my own way and then moving out the way?
Well, I would love to say my mom, and God and everything. I just feel like a lot of things, I don't think it's just one specific area. My upbringing, definitely, and also my inspirations and who I look up to and things that I listen to. I watch a lot of interviews, but I don't watch interviews from people I can't learn from. I don't listen to stuff that I can't gain knowledge from. And I don't associate myself with people who, in my team and in my small circle, I'm probably the dumbest person, and I like it that way. I always want to be around people who could teach me more, and and I like to be more silent too. You see, when I'm around Marshall and thing, I just let you talking. Marshall is just, I like when he just, get any more and do your thing, and he's the king. Yeah, bro, you do your thing. I'll just be taking notes.
And he has another side to it that not most people see in terms of that inspirational side of oneness. I've given a few people this story. When Sadhguru came to Trinidad, and Marshall brought him down, I was fortunate to interview him and have a private chat with him. And I've said that his book inspired me, but his words in terms of that one-on-one was less inspirational for me. It was from Marshall and Rennie having a discussion with me about what was in the book and their own experiences is what then inspired me. Not hearing it directly, not the actual person, not hearing it directly from the source. So he has a way, and very insightful at that. And like you with your connection to Johan, he has Che in his corner. Yeah. So I'm really glad to see that's working out. But I still not getting.
I know what you do, but let's circle back to that. Let me ask other questions, right? What would you say to another artist your age about them saying that they have a soca mafia in the country? What would you say to that?
Well, if they say that they have a soca mafia, are they saying that because of that they don't want to make music?
That's why they're not getting through, because of the soca mafia. Is there a soca mafia? Let's start there.
Well, you could even ask with regards to Bunji Garland's latest, I'm not going into road march.
Right.
For example, man saying that this, by not doing that, it takes away the competitiveness and the desire of having to, even if you're a part of, I don't know whether it's a soca mafia or not. It really doesn't matter. I just want to have a good time come carnival time.
Exactly.
But, and whichever songs, and what I want to do, like everyone else, is just hear all the songs that you like and not come, when it comes to the stage, at that point, now have to push a particular song in order to get the choke, to say, okay, well, one, this played 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And I think with Bunji's comments, I think what he was really trying to say is now that I've been removed from that, the competition is really, really at this point, probably 1 song or 2 songs, and therefore more chance of probably hearing Pieces or Respectfully Yours or I Like Bad Girl.
I'm addicted to that guy.
Big up Kimber.
Well, that's a big song too, but I was actually talking about the one with Nyla and Patrice.
Bad girl.
Okay. Maybe it's a video. I don't know. But, and I think so. If you look from that perspective, I don't know if you still want to ask the question.
I do. I want to know: is there a soca mafia out there?
Yeah. I feel like now I love to answer questions with a real educational response, but my response is I don't know, and I'll tell you why. Because I would love to say there's not, because I haven't seen. I roll with Marshall. I go almost everywhere with him. I haven't seen a dark room with people like, okay, this is who we're going to do. Like, there's nothing like that. That's TV thing. But I can't say that there's not, because I know that there are also people that went through certain things, their career, their own experiences. I'm only 22. I just reached. I wasn't there. I don't know what everybody went through. But I could simply say, my story, and my story is I literally sat in my room the beginning of this 2026 soca season, which we all know starts from August, and told myself I just want to take over this season. I don't know how. I don't have any money. I don't have no connections. There's nobody calling me saying, hey, have you on this rhythm? Nothing like that. And I'm also working in a job I don't like. So what I did, and hearing the soca mafia and everything, I honestly just got vexed and was like, all this fight down, all this everything, I just want to make music, I want to sing, I want to perform. And I just went and made a song. And it was never the plan to make a song with Marshall, because I wasn't even, not saying I didn't want to do it, I just wasn't even thinking on that magnitude. It's Marshall. Yeah. I didn't think that was possible.
So you call and you're like, listen, let me think about it.
Well, when Travis tell me,
Marshall, let me just think about it. Give me a couple of days. Let me decide whether you could collab with me.
But low-key, that's what happened. But not literally like that. What happened was Travis called and was like, how you gonna feel if you do this song with Marshall? I was like, Montano? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I get excited, right? But then I immediately let go it and I was like, relax. Let's be calm. Let's think. Let's see what's going on here. I immediately hailed management and I was like, yo, Marshall Montano. But then it's like, we can't show that. We can't go there and be all that.
You gotta be cool. Be cool, as they say.
You gotta be cool and you gotta be calculated. I think so. I immediately thought ahead of every single thing that would happen if I do the song with him and if I don't do the song with him. And then I immediately left it up to God and I was like, you know what? This is God. Because I wanted to. I heard this too. Somebody was telling me, if you want to hear God, if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans.
Yeah.
I had a plan different to this. I wanted to collaborate with a different soca artist, right? And that was like my main goal. I wasn't thinking Marshall.
Yeah.
And when I realized, when I remembered that, and I said, God, I wonder if that you there, boy. Nah, that had to be you. And Marshall's my favorite soca artist too. And it just made sense. So that's really that. So to answer your question, I don't know if there's a soca mafia, but I do know whether there is or there isn't. Just like you said a few minutes ago, it really doesn't matter.
We don't care. We just want to have good. We just want to have a good time. Music. We want to have vibes. We want to move out the way, and with that one, we're taking a short break.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right, now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off, let me see you rock off.
This week, the Review 10 continues home with Ladies' Night on Wednesday, 4th February. 2 persons on 1 ticket. Admission $350.
Then on Thursday, 5th and Friday, 6th February.
It's the Calypso Review 10 stars on full display. Admission $200 with Sugar Aloes along with the Review stars. Pink Panther, Skatey, Devon Seal, Singing Sonia, Michelle Henry, Mighty Diamond, Saint Nick, Nicole Grace, Maze, JD, Fire Tender, Sasha and Moses, Tempo,
Kurt Allen,
Nisa, Alana Sinette, Lackaman, Organizer,
Orlando Octave.
From Barbados, Mighty Gabby, your MCs, Marcus Batiste, Tommy Joseph, and the Chairman. Tickets at the Review 10 box office, SWWGU Hall. This is your opportunity to experience the Calypso Review tent. For info, call 797-5850.
With lots of giveaways.
This is what Calypso is all about. Showtime, 8 p.m. each night.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
This town isn't as safe as it used to be. You remember that laundromat that burnt down? We offered protection, but they refused.
So you're telling me that if I pay you, you'll protect me from... Gentlemen, I think you've been watching too many cheap American soaps.
Westwood Park, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Welcome back to Manhood, and the topic is move out the way. Bro, I know you wanted to hear about the $5 in my pocket song that I made, and really and truly, when I made it initially, this is what happens. I make stuff and then realize how deep it is after. So I probably doesn't even realize what I did. But the concept behind $5 in my pocket and making that If I Was on the Tilden Hall Rhythm video, that was me saying, hey, I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. I want to go party and stuff, going all-inclusive fets, but I only have $5 in my pocket. And I mash up every fet. So the song, I literally was saying stuff like, big fete in the savannah, we touch down. You know I bring the drama, we going down. Reach up by the entrance. Where's your ticket? It non-existence. Was wondering if we could get in for free. Me and my friend Tom and Jerry. Then the police pull up on we. Yes, officer, we'll just go home. Went on the next side behind the stage. Jumped the fence and I fall long on my face. But I small thing I good nobody see. Now I in the party time to get wassy. Alcohol look like it's expensive. Then we see is all inclusive. Reach by the bar, sipping vodka. I just joking, you know, it's punching. Now I ready for somebody's daughter. I just drink 15-year-old boy like water and we going down the road. Hold on, this girl that throwing waist. Then she mother, granny and all wasn't safe. Big woman from all kind of age. Then I catch her mad vaps and I climb the stage. Grab the mic from the MC live for the party. Yo, can you believe I do all of that with $5? I went and mash up the pet, so yeah.
Yo, that brought back some memories. So many memories.
I'm listening to that and going, they still doing that? You know, that was practically how we used to roll in plenty parties back in the day.
But you can't believe that it's still happening today.
That like, still happening. That the security and all that you could still do that instead of paying $4,000 to go to a party. But anyway,
well done.
So $5. But again, as you said, I mean, you write one thing and it is like so many lyrics that you hear in today's world where the artist wrote for one intention and people take something else from it. And in this case, what I took, even though you spoke about you have $5 in your pocket and you're still able to enjoy yourself, to me it's a metaphor for the fact that with $5 or $2 in your pocket, you don't really, when you come down to it, I know people say money, the love of money could not bring you happiness, but money certainly can to be able to go and do certain things. But so many other things in life that you enjoy, really and truly, You don't need money for that.
No.
And $5 in your pocket, yeah, you might be able to buy puncheon or something, but do you? To me, it's a deeper meaning. Just hearing the name of the song, that we can really dig deep again, not being in victim mode, and realize that we are standing in our own way. I've said it on this show a couple of times that even when you're faced with problems, a huge part of an issue is always that we don't realize that the problem is the problem. The rest and everything else that surrounds it, whether it be Niall and myself, you and me having a discussion, anything in work, relationships, it's to focus on what is indeed the problem and to change the things that you can and accept the things that you can't. Right. And the wisdom to know the difference. You know, that in itself is and I want to phrase the fact that I always remember Russell Latipi and his wife gave me some of the best advice that I have up to today in a relationship. And it's to say that when they have a difference or they see a difference of opinion coming, they go out. Because if you go out in public, right, what happens is you're very cognizant of your surroundings and you focus entirely then on what is the issue. Being the unit. Gotcha. And then you're just discussing the issue without the emotion, without the flair, without the problems. And you're just discussing the problem because the problem's the problem. And once you have that discussion, you can move back and realize, hey, we dodged that bullet. We dodged that missile. And it's to date some of the best advice that I got.
I'm going to do that in my future relationships. Like when you're starting to feel that friction happening between you and your missus, go out in public, go and have a dinner date and discuss the public out there. Discuss the problem out there in public. Yeah. Because
no safe word,
because
no
you
that crap.
Remove the unnecessary explosions that might happen when you're in a private space. So I like that.
You know, I would say on that, I feel like the foundation of relationships are important. I feel like it's best to put yourself with somebody who you could analyze from before, seeing that they have patience, seeing that they have the ability for clear communication, right? A lot of people, they go on dates, first date, and think it's just to dress up nice and eat food and, you know, lust over each other. Really and truly, our first date is you're analyzing the person. You're studying the person to see how they just function, how they just move, so you could see if this ties into what you're looking for and if this is what you could
It's women after all, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, you will never win, but it's like that's part of
you know, we always have a disclaimer on the show every now and again. The views and expressions
are not of that.
No, but I like that though.
Yeah. You know, because I believe at the end of the day, if you're going in relationships, you're supposed to be heading for marriage. You know, I mean, that's just from that perspective. So a lot of people don't understand what marriage really is. So you know, but
you seem very grounded in your faith.
Yeah,
you seem very grounded, and that's very admirable.
Very
find a lot of younger people, and people may even look at you on a soca stage and have their own judgments, and which is unfortunate because again, that's people being in their own smallness and not understanding that the genre has nothing to do with anything other than it's our music, it's we music, and the way we may perform or the way the music or the singing, maybe some of the lyrics might be, and you know, I say it often that I don't like the fact that sometimes the music may encourage certain behaviors that may lead to aggression or depression or pain, which is the horning part of it. You know, it seemed to become a big thing now that, you know, that songs are all, which is why I like Lady Lava now. We don't want no horn.
Yeah.
You know? Chuck man, we ain't want no horn.
But you specifically targeting one particular
I'm just saying in general, the fact that it's something that we should embrace as ours, because it is ours.
As in soca generally.
And soca generally. And something that Paris brought up even earlier about the fact that he has this big song now and it's just going to get, you know, that people tell him, hey, well, how are you going to do it next year when you're by yourself? And who's to say you have to be by yourself? Who's to say you can't continue along this route and continue just like all the others started? Because, I mean, Kes would say it with What Less. What Less was the song that all of a sudden people started to recognize who he was. Right. And then Marshall in 1997, you know, Marshall was singing, yes, Too Young to Soak and all these other songs, but he had a a quiet spell, let's just say, until 1997, Big Truck, and then bam, explosion again until his hiatus in 2010. And you know, he continues along that line because of the work that's put in. But I'm saying all that to say, because I don't want to ramble on here again with regards to the soca and the impact of soca, but really to say that when you really look at soca and you think to yourself, where in the world there's actually an event such as Carnival where the country practically shuts down and that there's music just created specifically for that event, and that every year there's a demand for new music. So forget not just that there's a demand by the population for new music, but the artists, especially as hence some of the words to encore. You know, you're as good as your last performance. And there's that demand, because if you really came and say, we had, say, 2026 Carnival, and we started to play all these hits from before, people may kind of be like, well, what's going on? Where's the excitement? But the reality is we have hits for years.
But that's actually a pressure, and I'm hoping, well, I shouldn't say hoping, you're going to be in it regardless because you're part of the soca fraternity at this point, right? But the pressure of having to perform and have a new song every year, no other artist in the world has to compete at that level, right? No other artist in the world, not reggae, not pop, not hip hop, nobody.
And to impress a public, as we said, who has something called, you know, when we've brought it up several times on this show, where we say we have this attitude about us as Trinis, where you have to be unimpressed. You know, there's the fashionably unimpressed is the word, and it's, you know, so in order to get you to wine and jam and be in that state of euphoria, it takes a lot of work. As you know, as you move out the way.
But I want to ask a question before we go. I know we run out of time, right? I want to know, now that you're in this space, right? And I'm hoping that you don't look at your mother after I ask you this question, right? Because mommy in the room, you all don't know that. Yeah. Right? You have real fame now, and you're young. How are you dealing, right, with the fact that you literally have a cornucopia of women, people trying to just be a friend? You understand? How are you dealing with that outside pressure? And I won't even call it pressure, but how are you dealing with now all this attention coming at you? How are you able to kind of filter out?
What's your grounding mechanism?
Yeah, what's your grounding mechanism for that?
That's a great question. I feel like I don't... I know I remember who was here before. I remember how things were. And I'll be real with you, a lot of people saying, you know, and this is not me song and ungrateful. I'm very grateful for this season. But to be honest, I don't think I have a sort of fear on all these things, and I really don't. I mean, I don't know if that's just me being humble naturally. I just can't really see that. But honestly, I just remember who was here before, and I don't... my energy does always tell me if somebody's genuine or not. And I only keep genuine people around me, which is why there's hardly anybody around me, because unfortunately, you know, genuine people kind of hard to find these days. So, but you know, it's still a rewarding feeling. It's grateful that a lot of people are excited and happy, and family members who I don't even know claiming me on Facebook. Oh, this is my nephew, and oh,
second cousin once removed.
Yeah, he was with my cousin. Half brother, dog, brother, neighbor. And I was like, oh, okay, big up you, long time no see. I don't even know who you are, but you know, but
you appreciate any love.
Yeah, because you know, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to make people feel good. It's a blessing that you could make music that could resonate with people, and it's so interesting to hear the different perspective you all got from the song Move All The Way. And I said that I made it off anger for my story, and you were saying that you was feeling pressure when you was working somewhere, and you was saying that, you know, we stand in front of our own self and how do we move all the way. That's what it's about. That's what really gives me the fulfilling, you know, because I didn't think on those levels. I just used my perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that it could stem to everybody else, and everybody could have their own interpretation. And it's all correct, because there's no wrong answers.
That's it. That's it.
And do you think that soca would or may be a stepping stone for you to do other genres of music?
For sure. Oh gosh.
Figured.
Why is it that?
One, you're real talented. I already seen you're a prolific writer. Just hearing things that how you're structuring things, right? And not to diminish soca, but soca is a very, at times, simplistic art form. We are very much call and response kind of type of people, right? You jump, wave kind of thing, right? So I already see that your writing style way above what the needs of soca is. So that's why I felt like you know, and how grand do you think? I think in that for you, soca is really just let me conquer, let me dance home before I dance abroad kind of vibe. And you're using this as your platform. Okay, now everybody know my name from Trinidad as soca, but now that giving me the opportunity to go and do other things. So if I'm to guess, I would think that your preferred genre, right, would be, I don't want to say dancehall. I don't want to say dancehall, right? But it is...
I'll give you a hint. You said it already before. You said the genre before.
I said it before? Tell me then.
No, go ahead. Even if it's wrong, but let me just see.
Even if it's wrong?
Even if it... Just try. This is good.
I would go with... I was actually feeling it in a... And I said it before.
Like you mentioned, because you was calling genres, isn't it?
I said hip-hop and R&B. That was the two other genres I didn't mention. But I don't see him as an R&B man. I see him more like...
Where do you see that?
No,
believe in yourself, bro. Believe in yourself, say it.
I was going to say neo soul, to be honest. But that was real specific, right?
If with Mom in the Room, let me take a wild guess. If it were not mixed with R&B or so on, I could see something maybe along the lines of praise. Gospel, R&B, somewhere in the mix they'd fall in somewhere inside of it.
So nobody got it.
It's a popular, it's a popular genre.
Is that what?
It's pop. Pop, you want to sing pop. He going Taylor Swift.
I'm secretly a pop artist, and I didn't want to mention that, but as it's here, and you know, we on the platforms and stuff, and my day one fans know that.
Okay.
There are people out there who hearing the soca and all these things and being like, yeah, Paris, this is cool. Where the pop though, like they know that, and there are people who tell me like when they listen to my groovy soca brush and all these things, they say they could hear the pop influences. And for me to not even realize I'm doing that means that that's what it is. Okay. So pop music for sure is definitely where I would like to venture off into. I don't want to keep myself in that box. So it's soca, it's dancehall, calypso, chutney, Afro music. I want to get into to R&B and hip hop and rock music and everything. But if I had to choose a genre to claim me, I would say pop music. For sure.
And the thing is, the world is your oyster. The world is your oyster, and what soca does is, you know, for a lot, the charity begins at home, and this is going to open a lot of doors for you through people like Marshall, Travis, all the people that are listening, all the people that are listening to soca these days, and even the like how you have GOAT, for example, all the Bungie Garlin, Major Lazer, all the different mixes. It's giving you that platform to do your thing and to take it in. Just don't forget where it started and where, you know, along those lines to continue, because nobody's saying it has to be one or the other.
For sure.
You way too grounded to forget, though.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Whew. Closing thoughts. One, my closing thought is that seeing you exist, I'm very proud of my country and my culture and our music, because a lot of the times in the barbershop we hear it's no soca dying because it's no new people coming into the game now, and you are literal, you know, testament that is an incorrect statement. So I really do appreciate that. And what my takeaway now for the people at home is, regardless of the intention of what the artist may have written it, your takeaway of how you interpret the song is really, it belongs to you. So consume it as you see fit. And I think that's, you know, my main thing. And I'm really proud of you, for real, big dog.
Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate that.
Well done. Well done.
For sure.
Bring it in.
Bring it in, that's all. Bring it in, man. Yeah.
Your thoughts. Your message.
What I would say to everyone, not just for any specific age, this would apply to everybody. One day we're all going to die. Let's start there. don't take every single thing so seriously. Don't take your job so seriously. Don't take stress so seriously. Don't take anything. I think what's important is remembering and trying to be grateful for all the happy moments, the laughs, and just spending quality time with loved ones and just living life on the edge, just having fun, because we take those things for granted. No matter how much money you could make in the world, how successful you are, how anything, at the end of the day, even the most successful people, when they're on their deathbed and they're sick and whatever, they have billions of dollars and they can't help them. So it's important to remember how you lived, because when you leave here, all that's left is the memories and what you stood for as a person. So your character and all these things. So just have fun. Don't take life so serious, and remember to tune into manhood all the time. Much respect, fellas.
Paris, you know, it was when we first met, you said you know, that you grew up watching me, and immediately I thought, wow, you know, here's this guy, you know, and the fact that you'd remember a diner, well, what would have been, you kind of think you're out of it in certain scopes. And I want to say that you know what, I'm watching you now, and to take what Niall said, I'm really proud of the achievements. That's something for your parents and yourself to be proud about in terms of being on the stage with Marshall, because that was your achievement. I didn't know it at that time, and I wasn't there for that journey. So what I'm proud of is the individual that we've learned and heard here today, and what you're doing for this country, and flying that flag in a way that really, when I think of who I can look at and say, that's a really good representation of a Trinbagonian, I think Paris Coute. I really, and I'm sure that's echoed by so many people out there, and to hear not just the you know, what your ambitions are, but in terms of what grounded you and what got you there and what continues to be your guiding light is even more inspirational. And no, we're not ready to bring it in just yet, you know, but I would say it, you know, so I just wanted you to know that certainly I'm inspired, and wish you all the best, and certainly anything that we can do in whatever form or format, you know, count on us. But I would say that to those listening, you know, it's an honor to be here having this discussion, and to try and remember the rule of 5. But before we get into the rule of 5, as you said in your opening or your closing, that we are going to die at some point. That's the two things that you can never change. You can't change the color of your skin, really, and that you're going to die. And the truth is, people will only remember how you made them feel. How you made them feel. And how you make yourself feel is also important. And the rule of 5, as you said, that you have a very small group of people around you. You know, keep it to 5 persons. 5 persons that you actually confide in. Don't let them see you coming. And remember, the lion only roars after the kill. So if it's not going to matter in 5 years, simply don't give it 5 minutes. If you feel that you're in imposter syndrome, remember, that's the imposter. That's the imposter side of you, making you feel that you're in imposter syndrome. So move out your own way and push forward. Success is a number of failures. So fail on, because you're going to get that success if the desire is there, if the passion is there. Paris, appreciate you here. Niall?
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know, bro.
No,
much love.
As always.
ManHOOD. Move out the way.
ManHOOD, brought to you in part by Solomon's Bespoke.
You're watching CNC3.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Well, it's another day to get into our tremendous conversations here on the Morning Brew. Welcome, Trinidad and Tobago. There is so much ahead. We're going to touch base We are going to touch base this morning with Vivek Sharon to treat with business and confidence in the business sector here in Trinidad and Tobago. We also get a chance to get into dialogue with